Jason Knoll, no doubt about who he cheers for.
Oh, the Leafs are going to meet God's team one of these days soon. No.
All right, let's talk basketball before we get to hockey.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit, Hudson, but say what you want about the Canada West basketball schedule, but this year they have saved the best for last. The UVic Vikes men's and women's teams will finish the regular season with a hugely important home-and-home series with their arch rivals from UBC. All the men have to do is host the first round of the playoffs is to win one game. It would be nice to do it tomorrow at UBC's War Memorial Gym, but if that doesn't work out, there's always next Friday at McKinnon Gym. If the Vikes sweep the series, they wrap up home floor advantage in the playoffs and the best record in the Canada West, but success on UBC's turf, well, that's hard to come by.
I think, UBC's still the Canada West champions, and and they've had that in the last couple of years. And I think until we knock them off, we haven't had a lot of success with them in the last couple of years. So until that happens, I think you still have to give, them the favorite role, and we have to prove that otherwise.
UBC's always had a pretty solid program, and at this point in the season to be ahead of them, it's always nice, especially in my last year, and hopefully we can. Take it to them, and it would always be nice to see UVic #1 and UBC second in the Pacific Division.
Well said, young man. The situation with the women's team is more desperate. Coach Rich Chambers and his young squad need a win as well, but that's just to get into the playoffs. The Vikes sit at 8-8, but can think of nothing sweeter than to punch their playoff ticket at UBC's expense.
At the start of the year, if you knew you had 2 games to make playoffs, both against UBC, would you have taken that?
I would have. I looked at the schedule and I thought we might be out of the playoff race before the Christmas break, but the girls have hung in, and we've let a couple of games get away on us. We really shouldn't be in this position, right? But if our girls play well, I think we have the capability of giving them a real tough game.
Franchise records keep falling for the Suns and Steve Nash. Today, Nash was selected as a reserve in the upcoming NBA All-Star game, his 8th All-Star appearance and 6th as a Sun. That ties a team record, but means Nash won't be able to use the break to rest his 38-year-old body. He's averaging an NBA best 10 assists per game. The news is not so good for Victoria's Rich Harden. He underwent shoulder surgery last week, and today we learned he will miss the entire 2012 season. The surgery was to repair a torn right shoulder capsule, an injury that Harden has been dealing with since 2007. When healthy, his stuff is good, but Harden hasn't pitched more than 100 innings in the past 2 seasons, and his injuries are well documented around the league. The Red Sox were interested in acquiring him from the A's at the trade deadline, but passed after they overlooked Harden's medical records. When the action on the ice isn't entertaining, sometimes you just need to take matters into your own hands. Like this young man at last night's game between the Victoria Royals and the Everett Silvertips. Royals looking for a split in the series, scoreless in the second when Jamie Crooks bangs in a rebound for his 30th of the season. That made it 1-0. Everett, though, very strong on the forecheck here as Cody Fowley wins a battle. Ryan Harrison finishes a pretty passing play. We are tied. Still in the second, though. Watch the bounce off the end boards right onto the stick of Ryan Chenoweth. Royals down by a goal. Third period, though, the captain responds, taking charge. Hayden Rintoul leading the rush and finding young Dakota Conroy for the tying goal. But Everett not looking like a cellar-dwelling team on this trip. Ryan Harrison gets your winner in a 3-2 Silvertips win. The Royals' cushion on 8th place is just 3 points up on Everett, but the Tips have 2 games in hand. The Nanaimo Clippers' playoff hopes are slowly starting to drift away. The Shipmen lost in overtime last night, 4-3 to the Surrey Eagles. Clippers now sit 7 points out of a playoff spot with 13 games remaining. Well, for many, New Year's Day marks a fresh beginning, a time to put those resolutions to action. And most hockey fans, however, resolve themselves to the couch to watch the popular Winter Classic. On January 1st, 2013, those Toronto Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings will take their 85-year rivalry outdoors.
2013 Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic, the game itself, will be played at the Big House on the campus of the University of Michigan, the largest stadium in North America. And even with 115,000 or more tickets available, we still won't have enough to satisfy the demand.
Well, January 1st is a Tuesday, if anyone is wondering. The 2013 Winter Classic is expected to draw a record number of hockey fans for a number of reasons. It's an original six matchup. Toronto is the first Canadian franchise to participate in the outdoor classic, and of course the proximity of the two cities. In 2010, a record hockey crowd of 104,000 packed Michigan Stadium for an outdoor game between Michigan and Michigan State. An hour after the announcement was made, Leafs fans crashed the pre-ticket website. Overwhelming demand was the reason given. That's going to be hot.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You got that. Who's that? That's Datsuk, right?
Datsuk.
Yeah.
So I will see Noel's Leafs and raise him a Datsuk head.
He's got it's sort of shaped like a light bulb.
It is a perfect light bulb.
That stadium's amazing. I've never seen a game there, but my brother took my sister there, and wow.
Imagine the atmosphere. That's going to be incredible.
Fun. Why, thank you.
You're welcome. Castle Van Osh had a tough draw tonight against Manitoba. Both curling teams went in tied for first with Alberta with 8-2 records, but the Shannon Burchard rink from Manitoba was just a bit better. Manitoba led 6-3 in the 10th, and coming home with hammer. Van Osh managed to steal two, just too little, too late. They will look to rebound in their final round robin matchup against Nova Scotia. Tomorrow, Nova Scotia is ranked 6th. So it looks like the girls are going to get into the playoffs. So good for them.
Excellent. Why, thank you.
You're welcome.